I'm just gonna brace for the backlash of this review. Hello friends, I have just read The Eyre by Jasper Fforde. And I hope I said that correctly, because there were a lot of F's in his name. Jasper Fforde. And while I've heard a lot of really great things about this book, and a lot of people who have really liked it, I just wasn't feeling it so much. The Eyre is the first in the Thursday Next series, and it is about the character named Thursday Next, who is a female spec ops agent in 1985 futuristic London, and she investigates the crazy villainous escapades of a man named Archeron Hades, who is robbing the country of original manuscripts of famous works, and also robbing the characters from those books. And in this story, I guess she battles her own past while she battles Archeron and tries to restore literary order and reality. It's the best way I can come up with, because I was really confused. It's a plot-driven book, obviously. I hate that phrase. All books are sort of plot-driven, right? And it's very nicely laid out and very well crafted. The craftsmanship of this novel is incredible. Parallels that are drawn between Thursday's life and the life of Jane Eyre are remarkable. And all the seemingly pointless backstory that I was a little concerned about in the beginning was, you know, all tied up at the end. And I appreciated that connection. In the main villain Archeron Hades' quest to sort of just be evil, he goes and kidnaps Jane Eyre, which is why the book is called The Eyre Affair, and it's Thursday's job to get her back into where she belongs, and through it there are a whole series of scientific things and battles and all kinds of crazy stuff, which you're sort of thrown into right at the very beginning. While it's a classic author's trick to just pop you right into the action without any explanation from the start, I didn't find that to work really well for this book. I was extremely confused because the inside flap says Great Britain circa 1985, and then after the colon it says time travel is routine. What? What? I went into this book thinking it was going to be the 80s, and all of a sudden there's time travel, and her father's in the Chronoguard, which are these people that hop through time at different points and do things with clocks and only appear for minutes at a time, and they're cloning dodo birds and keeping them as pets, and there's all sorts of crazy inventions, and I just didn't understand the era and the setting. I was so confused the entire time. It really never got properly explained, if you ask me. I wish there had been some kind of detailed or at least explicable passage about the setting, because I was just over my head. Maybe I'm just stupid, but that's how it seemed to me. That confusion permeated the entire story, despite the fact that there were some good characters in these books to make up for a little. Thursday was a fantastic character. Really explosive, really, you know, gung-ho about her work, and she had all, you know, those demons from her past that were preying upon her through the entire book, but I didn't really find her very connective. I didn't really find her very relatable, and I wish she had been a little more for being the main character. Landon was a character that was, I think, far too classic. He did everything that I expected somebody like him to do, and it just bothered me, and can't say anything more about that except for spoiling the whole book. But Mycroft and Polly, Thursday's aunt and uncle, Mycroft Next and Polly Next, were crazy. They were just a little bit on the edge, teetering toward insane, and I really appreciated that. They were my favorite characters of the whole book. I don't know why, other than the fact that her uncle just had this sort of loopy mad scientist inventor thing going on, and her aunt was just weird. Wish I had family just like them. This book was one that I felt like I could close and not think about it. And I could open it up and come back to wherever I was, and I would still know where I was in the story, but I wasn't really driven to come back and open the book again. I didn't really want to keep reading it until I got to the rising action, and like at the very top of the rising action, which is where everything just comes together and there's a thrilling chase. Until that point, I was a little bit bored. I was a little bit bored and confused and wasn't really sure what was going on. Jasper Fforde has tried to show the evilness of Archeron Hayes' character a little too much. I think I could have gotten the point of what kind of guy he was without all of the things that he did in the book. I think maybe half of those would have been sufficient. Finally, the chapter titles were really boring. They were really boring and self-explanatory and unnecessary, and there were chapter quotes. Now, if we remember from this book over here, Inkheart, chapter quotes can be nice and interesting, but I just found them ridiculous. They were all from books which had been written by people in the story, I think. I wasn't sure which ones of them were real books or which ones of them were books written by the characters. And that was even more confusing than the weird setting for me. I guess I'm just not a fan of chapter quotations. So in the end, 3.5 out of 5 stars on the Eyre Affair. I know a lot of people really, really love this book and think it's phenomenal, but I was just confused most of the time. But it was very well crafted, very well written, and a very interesting plot. I just wish it had been a little bit easier to follow. And with that, I believe that this is actually overdue from the library, so I'm just gonna go return that right now. They called my house yesterday, and they want it back. So I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!